Hello, and welcome to another Wargame or Dragoncast with me, Rangru. We have a 1v1 on Mudfight today from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord monthly tournament. And well, on left hand side in the blue, we have ourselves the mighty Valiant playing as an USA deck, and on the right hand side in the red, we have Poton8 playing as an tent deck. And as we're seeing right off the bat, we've got a little bit of smoke covering Delta. The Dab trying to go in for the anti-helicopter play. Shoots down a Hind. Kills the Hera. But the transport helicopters are going to get into that village, which is really the more important thing. Yes, the Hind and the recon helicopter are a little bit pricey. But the position of getting into here before, well, all these American riflemen do will definitely prove to be a little bit more useful in the long run, as usually on this map, capturing this village allows you to pretty easily secure Alpha. As we're seeing, pretty much all the fighting will be happening in between Delta and Alpha here. Got Chaparral getting into position, shooting down one of the hips. But the thing is Poton has managed to get into position with his Lekka Pachotas, his long-range recoilless rifles. Rifleman 90s are going to be caught out in the open. There's not too much they can do. We do have an E2 and a regular Emron Abrams there. But of course we're just seeing lots of smoke play because both heavy tanks, or sub-heavy tanks I should say, probably don't want to engage each other. Seeing the Abrams actually hook a little bit round, and oh, the Hornet, lovely kill there. Not much anti-air, it was definitely a very roll pick. The A2 Abrams can now run around supreme, and even though Valiant doesn't have the town position, he can pretty easily contest it now by actually just using his superior armoured firepower. He's really going to have to rely on that because, as we saw in his deck, it's really just rifleman spam. But hey, that's kind of USA General in general. It's not the best infantry are really for the more fancy-pantsy vehicles on offer. But the riflemen are taking some pretty heavy casualties here. The same thing as Poton's infantry. He's going to be bringing up another stack of riflemen to try and charge on in. But Poton also bringing in reinforcements, Concours them, and probably some more infantry. Those paddle branches to help secure that village. And really, it is just a village fight. We see a little bit of movement up north here. We've got the Celadon Recon moving around, or getting into a good position, I should say, in Foxtrot. Apart from that, it's a fight over the village. A2 Abrams is expending all of its ammunition, trying to blow everyone up. Seeing that constant smoke barrage to give that Abrams a little bit of snuggly coverage. Poton is going to start maneuvering some units into Alpha now, as he does control the village, including that Saint Sava. We're seeing the next rifleman attack here. Also bringing out a Stinger, but I think he's mainly bringing the Stingers out for the M2A2 Bradley, which comes along with him. Concourse should go down. Oh no, he's going to back off in the nick of time. And the Pados are close range against tank targets are going to be fantastic with Boomba. Do like how he has this one ATGM vehicle down here providing some support. Only a Mount Luca, which is pretty rubbish in the anti-tank department, but if he could get a tank or some of the more powerful ATGMs down here, I'd definitely give him a pretty good defensive flank in securing his Delta Alpha village. Because really his main issue is this A2 Abrams. You can't really kill that easily at long range. It's a rather nasty piece of kit. Just gonna be seeing some napalm. I'd say only Abrams here to force out the smoke. I guess where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, does snipe the Chaparral of the Mount Luca. Really good kill. Now providing some machine gun fire support. As a rifleman charging in, gonna get spotted here and probably get taken out in a second. Or maybe not. Back off in the nick of time. Poton can just keep switching up infantry units in this town. I'm guessing he's actually not getting that much more. It's another concourse squad. The same thing with Valiant, not getting a whole lot of infantry, just bringing in a fire support M1 Abrams and 2 Sheridan Recons. Okay, there we go, the 4 stack of riflemen. That's really what you're gonna need to push into the town. Or Bradley taking some fire from the M80. Already got the stealth tank, M84AN. That's gonna be in a very good position in Alpha here. Did the 80 Abrams? No, the 80 Abrams is resupplying. I'm not blind, I swear. But AN will just provide fantastic fire support. And be hidden while doing it as well. I mean, there's no recon units really nearby to spot them. Already seen the Super Galab going in. 2 TV guided missiles and 1 dead 80 Abrams. Returning the favour from earlier. That's really going to put a hamper in Valiant attacking the Delta now. He's going to have a very nasty time dealing with that M84. Actually, M84 is getting a little bit dangerous going into the forest here. Proletariat's going down, and that small squad, if I recall, decent anti-tank. Actually pretty good against the AN, my bad, it's like 2 shots to kill with the small. I forgot that AN is, even though it's a pretty nasty heavy tank, isn't the nastiest of heavy tanks, as it only has 15 frontal armor. Yep, the Sheridan Cavs with the recon optics should definitely be able to see they're getting blown up by Concourse missiles. Second one does go down. The mortars are already counter-battering. It is only 2 guys, so it should be a pretty easy kill. Just need 1 direct hit. These Concourse against some pretty rough snipes here. And the riflemen by themselves unsupported are just not going to be able to take out town. You're seeing the first CV being brought out to Charlie. And Poton8 also on the same page and going to be capturing Foxtrot here. I feel like this is going to be a pretty slow and steady CV game, because both sides can contest Delta, and realistically both sides can contest Alpha. And Mighty Valiant does have a decent force in the northwestern corner here. And also a decent force in the air. From Poton8, that is, with the MiG-29s. Those riflemen are going to be feeling the effects of napalm pretty shortly. Valiant is going to be being a patriot by bringing up a patriot. Yes, both sides is building up air forces. What is this L-17 going for? Is it a helicopter to shoot down? Oh yeah, it's like Cobra. Be a pretty easy kill. That L-17 is a pretty good helicopter killer. With both of its short range anti-plane slash anti-helicopter missiles. Yeah, things I'm just speeding through because nothing's really happening. Both sides are doing some light skirmishing back and forth. Bringing up some armor support, and Poton is definitely building up much more of a nastier force here into Alpha now. All the infantry transports, and of course the AN recon tank, and just a regular A recon tank, or a regular M84 tank. No reconnaissance optics in this guy. I'm guessing the N stands for like optics or some nonsense like that in Yugoslavian military terms. CV being brought up into Alpha will give Poton that nice little +1. Mighty is starting to move up a little bit. He's gonna run into the rule here. I don't really think it'd be in his best interest to continue to push, because here we go. M84 getting the kill. We are seeing a Hornet coming in. I don't think he's going to be able to shoot the AN in time, because he is going to back off into the forest. Oh, Hornet, yo, does kill an M84. Not the most expensive target, of course, but still a worthwhile kill. And without really taking too much damage, so you can't complain too much on that front. I've seen a little bit of movement up here from Valiant. Got 2 rifleman squads being brought up. I think he's going to try and clear through his northern forest here. There's only 1 squad of special ones, but those special ones are pretty special. Yeah, Poton's just in a good position. He's got a lovely little +1. He's managed to get very good control onto Alpha. Valiant's just having a very hard time moving through. I mean, his infantry just can't really cut it in CQC. No, I didn't micro the Patriot yet to actually turn on the missiles. Bit of a shame. I mean, as we know from Poton's deck, he doesn't actually have any seaplanes in his deck. But of course, you can't realistically know yet. I do believe the Entente does get, or Entente I should properly say, does get options to seaplanes if I recall. So, better be safe than sorry. Well, I guess it's probably better to be sorry in this case. Especially for the Riflemen are just slowly burning up alive. Morty, I think, was trying to kill the Nether, but the Nether is going to move out the way for now. Poton is going to be making a push through Alpha here to try and clear through that forest. You know, that Napalm has forced the Americans to fall back. A whole lot of infantry forces here, but the Riflemen's, heck, even the Rangers don't have the scariest anti-tank. There was 1 squad of proletaries. Not going to be having a good time unsupported. But hey, you're going to get support here a little bit from some napalm. Did they drop the bombs? I don't think so, because he is now very dead. Thingy here getting a lovely little snipe. I do like Valiant trying to play a little bit up north into Foxtrot. You never really see people try to push up here. It's a pretty hard area. Why is he sending Super Glebs to kill Emron on freeze? I think the missile is more expensive than the actual vehicle. But, as I was getting to earlier, I do like you know, people trying to push onto Foxtrot. It is hard to push, as the defending side does have these two pretty nice forests for him to take advantage of. Slap some ATGMs in here, and it can be very hard to maneuver around, as there's not a whole lot of cover on the opposite side. And damn, both sides using pretty expensive missiles above rather inexpensive vehicles. So I guess it's more of the opportunity factor rather than the threat factor. And also, yeah, on the northern flank, reasonably is not much anti-air, so it's a rather safe airspace for these airplanes to operate in. We're seeing the CV being snuck into Alpha here. And this is where we're going to get back to our neutralization of the 0-0. And we can probably say, guess that the same thing will happen into Delta. The question is whether Abrams will get spotted. He has put it in the smarter location down south. He's a little bit more alone and stranded, as he's not close to his reinforcement zone. I mean, there's no road going through the forest. But it's less obvious. So if we are seeing MiG-29s trying to flush them out with napalm, they're probably not going to do it down here. Rifleman, or I should say Rifleman, the lone guy, managing to clear up out northern forest and Foxtrot. Oh, by himself now, Mr. Ferguson. I don't think he's going to be doing all that much. Plowman strike, yep, yeah, it's a classic plowman strike. Turning up some of the riflemen in Alpha. They're going to pull back as the Mechanovas are going to mechanize their forces, and it has to be a decent amount to maybe start clearing this out. He does outnumber the infantry here by quite a bit. I mean, it is a grenade launch LVTP, which will prove to be a bit of a threat, but we'll see how it goes. An LVTP coming into play. And automatic grenade launchers are almost an auto-run in forest fights. Same thing with the Spetsnaz napalm launcher. I've seen some counter or CV sniping. I was about to say counter batterying, but I don't think its command infantry can actually battery anything at long range. It's just a CV snipe if a shell actually hits. If a shell can actually hit, come on. There we go. The Delta's a more risky area to get that CV in. It seems like he's trying to do the CV snipe down south. Playing battleship by guessing a location, and he is not going to sink anyone's battleship down here. He is marking the plowmen. They aren't going to be relocating. Oh yeah, he's really sending in the big guns. But you know, this is Yugoslavia we're talking about here. They're the perfect counter to the Nighthawk menace. As we can clearly see. It's never safe to fly Nighthawk over Yugoslavian lines. But yeah, we only have 16 minutes left on the timer, and Poton, I mean, he has a 70-point advantage. He's doing pretty good. We're seeing a counterattack here from Valiant into Alpha, but this defensive line is pretty nasty. The M91 and the AN recon tank, not a whole lot is going to get through. Yeah, I mean, you have a bunch of M1 Abrams, but these are the crappy M1 Abrams. They're original OGs with only the 105mm. They're not very good. I mean, they're not very good at all. Only 13 AP. It's pretty pathetic. And they all go down. He really probably should have just invested in an A2 Abrams. Would have went down a little bit better. Or longbow. Longbow is also a very good investment. Once again, this is Yugoslavia horizontal to be more accurate. You have nasty anti-aircraft options. Saint Sava does not mess about at 2.8 kilometer range. I think F-15 got the sniper. If I can actually move the camera around. Yes, he did. And is he gonna crash off the map? He's gonna crash. There we go. Crashes into the earth and tunnels himself back up top here. I mean, he really must have got shot down by the F-15. It's always really weird how the map is just like cut off like this. Like God just took a saw and just cut the area. And they're all fighting in a black void. Maybe it's as hell. Or Purgatory, one of those. Definitely must seem a little bit like hell for Valiant, because he is not doing too great, and all those fancy power units just keep getting sniped. L-17 coming in, killing longbow, gets shot down, who cares? It's a 90-point aircraft or a 150-point helicopter. It's a run for all trade any day of the week, including Sundays. Because the Sunday is actually a day of the week. Just a quick fact for anyone out here who didn't know yet. Or we got Spat Bobs being brought in. A really odd looking vehicle. But a very fast run. Just look at it go. I mean, I'm also running on 2x speed. This is its natural speed. But still, very fast. Very fast indeed. Or, getting a little bit desperate here, Valiant's gonna try and sneak a CV on the Foxtrot, but it's not a whole lot of safe locations for him to take residence in Foxtrot position. I mean, command infantry would be ideal, but he doesn't have any of them, so Humvee will have to suffice. Oh, actually, this isn't bad, this area. I mean, you don't have to park it in the forest. I mean, you could park it... I guess you would want to park it in the forest, really. But a run rifleman, Mr. Ferguson is going to go down here. The Mechanovas are mechanizing their firepower to Wargame. Reared MP40 knockoffs and MG42 knockoffs. And RPG2 knockoffs. Very interesting weapon selection. I feel like his Humvee's gonna be in for a bad time because Mechanovas does move up. Yeah, the Bradley gonna get sniped easy peasy style from the Concours M. Yeah, the CV and Alpha did go down. That's gonna give Poton8 plus run. And he just has great map control. It's pretty much his game at this point. Is he gonna move up behind? And he's gonna go down pretty quickly after the pivot. I've seen a HA Abrams being brought out. Definitely could have used that heavy firepower sooner. But still, it's just such a nasty force build up here. All the Mechanovas and mainly these two rather nasty tanks. don't think the mortars are really gonna be sufficient, especially when the enemy has Plamons available to him. He's just gonna push on through now. The Humvee CV engaging back against the Mechanovas. As he has 10 HP, I forgot about that. Let's see, a little bit more resilient than I thought it'd be. Yeah, it's not like an up-armored Humvee, it's just a regular old 80s Humvee, of course. But hey, I guess it doesn't matter how much armor you got. None, being in this case, when a TP-guided missile hits you in the face. A pretty quick way to get killed. But hey, at least to be on TV. Yeah, Poton8 just really finishing things off here. Got the Command Abrams and the HE Abrams being brought in, and another Humvee CV trying to sneak itself onto Delta, but probably going to face the same threat or fate as the Recon Infantry are, yeah. And these HE Abrams are going to run into Proletary 90s, and that's a rather nasty rocket launcher which I have. Oh yeah, the Abrams does have 2 machine guns, which I forgot makes it pretty decent in forest fights. Not the best, but better than only having one machine gun. Not as good as having an autocannon, though, of course. Only the modern tanks have that. There we go, or Mighty Valiant is going to tap out, and that will be a GG with a pretty standard 1,000-point kill difference on average. 1,015 to be more precise, yeah. But yeah, I mean, mud fight, usually how it goes, who gets to the village first is a very good time, usually, because just getting them down for an all of that, it's such a key point, and, I mean, playing USA is pretty hard by itself, I would have to say. It's not, on paper, it's a pretty good deck. I mean, you have all the fancy equipment, the longbows, the Nighthawks, the Abram tanks, the Patriots, the Chaparrals, so you got some very good equipment. But the infantry is just pants. It's really, really, really bad. Especially compared to the super soldiers of the Yugoslavian and Czech nation in the Entente deck. And on a map like that, where infantry fights are very important, you tend to do pretty bad with your regular rifleman. And, well, I'm going to leave it off at that. This has been another Wargame Dragoncast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And, as usual, please just take it easy.